Oh, hello.
Hi.
I'm guessing you're nervous. I don't. Well, actually, I do kind of blame you, but. Alright, let's.
No, I get it. Trust me.
Full disclosure,
Yeah.
this is not directly at you, so I hope I'm not gonna get angry, but I just recently discovered something Yoon said about me that actually genuinely made me hate him. So I'm gonna try to control my temper throughout this call. And I'm gonna go with the preamble here. I recognize that you are not the main perpetrator in this fiasco or the one orchestrating the lies behind the scenes. So I will do my best to not lose my temper. Well, I cannot guarantee that. Please don't interrupt me. I feel it is not fair on you to put you on the same level as you. However, you have acted out with demonstrably malicious intent that I wish to have answers for. I have read the logs, and I feel disturbed about what you said about me, along with others, but I will keep them anonymous. So, let's get on to question 1. There you go. I'm sending a screenshot. Because I asked this to Susie, sorry. Not Lucy, whoops. What do you think Yoon is saying in this? And what do you think he's done in this?
With Yoon?
Yeah, my question is, what do you think Yoon is doing or done in the screenshot?
Let me read this over real quick. Very diplomatically, and then found the craziest shit. They had a copy of the document they made about me. Deleted but never got rid of it. Well, made them delete for good. Back in commentaries from Stefram.
Tell me what you think it is, when you're done.
I see the words "the deal has been breached" is underlined. And I remember that at some point, I think it was before you and Yoon actually talked things out, he was planning to make some sort of public statement about you. And what I can assume is being said is deal's been breached. He was gonna go ahead with it anyway. Am I misunderstanding this?
Alright, I'm guessing you misunderstood like Susie. So, I'm gonna...
Okay.
This, Jace, is an admission of blackmail.
Oh.
See, I was not grounded by my mom. I was actually told to be... I was forced offline by Lyo because Yoon was using Lyo to force me offline and silence me. And before that, he threatened that if I talked about him again, even in private, or Hiten, that they would send the police to my house.
Oh, Jesus.
And given my living situation, that could have ended badly. So, number 2. A loaded question. Did you ever think to question Yoon on my quote-unquote grounding? Because to put it bluntly, he lied to you about that. It was not grounding, because here's what actually happened. Lyle called my mother, right? He called her and stuff. The reason was because Yoon insisted that he would call the police, or specifically file a police report on me at my father's house. Lyle did not want to escalate to that level. So Yoon, knowing Lyle trusted him, and Hiten, at face value, used him to blackmail or ground me or force me off the internet. It was not my parents. My mom was the one who wanted to watch my electronics, correct. But it was Lyo who did that, so he could help me. Even those who do not like him, like Neurofunky, can even attest Lyo never intended to isolate me. So to reiterate, did you ever think to question Yoon about my quote-unquote grounding?
I don't think I really did. I'll admit, I you and I weren't really on good terms at the point it happened.
I'm sorry. I read the logs. That is incorrect. You're happily talking shit about me with him. I don't want to say that's a lie. Okay. Question number 3. Did you spread Yoon's narrative about me to other places?
No.
Okay. I hope that's not the case. Question 4. Did Yoon actually show you what I said in the document?
I don't remember at the moment. I apologize. I
Alright.
remember seeing a copy of your document.
Interesting. Alright. Because, I was thinking he didn't, because he didn't show people that. Usually. Question number 5.
Yes.
This is a wild one, but I know what I'm talking about. Here's the screenshot.
Yes.
Sorry, trying to get the screenshot. Question. I read the logs. Here's a screenshot. Why did you want to harass my mom by calling her?
No, that's not what I meant when I said that. Yoon said, quote here, my boss thinks I should push for a restraining order. And considering what I knew about what he'd been saying up to that point about you, I was in agreement with him on that, because to my understanding, you'd been stalking him for a long time. That was my understanding of the situation, and I know that probably might not be correct, but like...
Alright, so it's a misread, but you do realize that kind of came across as that.
Yes, I can see how that came across that way.
Follow-up question. I hate to be blunt about this, because this one was extremely upsetting.
Okay.
Don't look at chat, B. What the fuck is this?
I don't even remember this, but that shit. I'm not gonna make excuses for that. I have no
You do
excuse.
realize Keyblade was exiled from the community for this reason, right?
Yes. I know.
Okay. It's not great. Because, Deafin, B, Deafin, ironic, Ephraim wants to ask a question after what I say.
Sure.
Ironically enough, I don't know if you watched my video on the SCC, but I did actually buy a rope from Amazon to go kill myself with, so that's kind of ironic, honestly. It actually hurt a lot seeing that, reading that, to be honest.
I'm not gonna make excuses, and I can't even... I'm just gonna shut my mouth.
Okay. Alright, you can talk, Ephraim.
Well, I was going to ask Jace, because this is something I just realized. So, Jace,
Yes?
who in all have you said things like this about? Because I know you've threatened violence on at least me. This is you saying you'll hand Rin the rope. Who else have you said this about to your memory?
I don't think I've said that about anyone else.
Wait, you haven't said that about anyone else?
I don't think I have.
So, you haven't said that about,
That
say, Vivian?
I don't. I genuinely don't remember. I might have said
Oh.
something like that about her. She's.
Okay. And I want to be clear. I'm not even gonna, like, get all that mad about you, to you, if you did say that about Vivian. Like, the point I was making is I thought it was weird if it was just about me and Rin specifically, and then you said you couldn't think of anyone else you could have said this about.
I find that deeply disturbing, to be honest.
No, I probably did say something about, like, Vivian or something of her.
Okay. Well, and I want to be clear. I don't really care if you said about Vivian. Again, I would actually be more bothered if it was just specifically me and Rin. Am I making that clear? I feel like I need to make that clear.
Yeah. No, yeah, I understand.
That was my question. If I have any more, I'll unmute and ask away.
Yeah.
Okay. Question 6. What
Sure.
was your thought process about, frankly, having a sadistic glee about me? To specifically quote you in particular. Okay, I could just get the screenshot, but I could quote it from there.
Is this about the Twitter thing? Or is this something else?
It's in Cloud Palace, actually. Hold on.
Oh.
I'm trying to get this
Okay.
the accurate screenshot.
I don't.
You quoted in particular. Yes, isolate
That
her.
was-
Let her forever wallow in her misery. Did you really hate me that so much that you wanted me gone forever?
Can I admit something very personal for a minute?
Sure, go ahead. I hope someone will
Um.
censor that if that's upon your request.
Okay. No, you can make it public for all I care.
Okay.
I have personal experience being stalked. Me and my best friend suffered that at someone we knew in real life for a good few years. And in hindsight, I'm wondering if that was clouding my judgment to some extent. I know that's no excuse. I know.
So, a trauma response, so to say.
Trauma, yes, very much so. I don't know if I even want to go into all the stuff that happened with that girl. She
I just want to say,
threatened my best friend and I with her life on at least 2 occasions.
Jace, I just want to
Yes.
say, we get it at this point. That was all you needed to say. Is that
I'll try to be simple. Question 7. Essentially, a follow-up for question for 6. Are you aware that attempting to isolate someone is a form of abuse?
I mean, I guess I must not have really thought about it that way at the time, but in hindsight, I definitely understand how it came off that way.
That kind of answered it, but I'll just ask anyway, the follow-up question. Why did you think that was acceptable to do to me? I'm guessing it's your trauma, was it because I was a bad victim in this? But it might have been just your trauma response.
I genuinely believe it was a trauma response.
Alright. I'm seemingly doing good so far, in spite of what I just saw about what you said. Question 8. Is blocking someone's hidden alt really stalking? Because Yoon said that Hiten came up with the stalking accusation in the Rin call.
I can, to an extent, understand where Yoon was coming from with that, because it was supposed to be hidden. It was supposed to be something people didn't really know existed. And the fact you found it, I can understand why it would have caused Yoon some alarm.
Yes. The problem is it was public. It was public. If it was a private account, then the cyberstalking claim would have been valid. But given he threw Yoon under the bus about it, it's essentially him admitting that the cyberstalking claim is, false. Sorry, Alright. Follow-up question to 8. Were you aware Hiten Mitsuru tried to find my dogs by filing a FBI report because of me blocking Yoon's ult?
I'm 99% sure I don't know about that.
So much items, but I guess Trollobane does that, I guess. Here it is.
No, I don't remember this.
Yeah. She tried to find my dogs, and ironically enough, this was before my first name was public, so ironically enough, you doxed my first real name to Hiten when I trusted him with it. Incredible.
That's... Jesus. If I can just, for a second...
Mm-hmm.
I must have... I'm not gonna excuse any of this, but God, I had a very, very skewed understanding of the situation at hand. And I did that stupid thing where I believed my friends blindly. Guess I can't even be surprised at myself anymore. Anyway, you can continue.
Question 9. Did Yoon or Hiten say I doxed you?
I don't remember.
The answer is yes. I can get it. Hold on. But ironically enough, this completely contradicts his accusation. The duality of man, so to say.
Okay, let me...
This is Hiten gaslighting me to my face about me doxing Yoon.
Ooh, that's...
Well, Yoon admitted it was public.
Jesus.
They lied to you a lot, didn't they? Because a lot of people have been lied to. I should know. I lost my closest friends over this.
God, I'm... Sorry, I'm just taking a second to process that. I hate how I keep getting... Am I really that easy to lie to?
I guess ask people next time when they accuse someone of something without evidence.
Yeah,
Because I wasn't given a voice, I kept being threatened to be put in silence. Otherwise the police would be at my door. And I was terrified.
And them
blackmailing me.
Like that was beyond fucked up.
Not to mention filing a police report or an FBI report. Hold on. Let me get to this one too. Oh, not the right one, but whatever. But Hiten admitted to filing a police report to the non-emergency police line. So that's given this situation and how much she lied, as well as Yoon, that is a false report. That is illegal. That is wasting police time. So they committed 2 crimes at least against me. Ironically enough, Yoon admitted that I didn't commit any crimes against him.
Jesus.
So, yeah. Follow-up question.
Sure.
What did they tell you?
There's... Oh, God. I hate to keep using the I don't remember excuse. It... Most I think I knew was about the supposed stalking. I knew about the grounding. I knew about when you and Yoon finally, actually spoke one-on-one. And I knew about the possibility of you being kicked out.
I get you.
Yeah. Ephraim said, if you actually don't remember, that's fine, and you're being specific enough to where I get the idea you're at least trying.
Sorry, I'm typing.
No, it's okay. Yeah, I saw that one. Ugh.
Oh, Autumn asked a question.
If I discuss this... If I discussed it? No, I barely even DM'd either Yoon or Hiten.
So a blind follower, it seems. I guess. I initially wanted to talk to Yoon, but after what I saw today, I kinda don't. I will show you it later, but it enraged me to oblivion. Question 10. I need a screenshot here. I saw your straitjacket comment about me. Are you aware that I am disabled and mentally ill, to the point where I can't live on my own, that I'm under a conservatorship, and your progressive ideals? That this makes you look ableist, especially according to your ideals.
I didn't know that about you.
Okay. Because, it was well known that I was very autistic and disabled. And extremely mentally ill. This is rough. Question 11. This is actually multiple questions. Do you feel anyone made you say or think this way? Did you not feel in control when you said what you did about me? Was this not actually how you felt?
I can at the very least admit that I've always had a habit of just going along with things that were being said about people we had issues with. And I know, trust me, I know that's a problem.
So being a sheep. I wish that was not typical, but it is typical for this community.
Yeah.
I hate the SCC so fucking much. Question 12. Why did you not stop people talking about assaulting me? There are people talking about murdering me and putting me in body bags, including Yoon, who engaged in that narrative of murdering me, the person who was Ellie Welly Woo, who apologized profusely, or Avi making sexual jokes or humiliating jokes like a cum jar joke about me, which frankly is also sexual harassment. Did you think what they did was right and kosher? I'll send them.
think when people started getting that aggressive, I might have kind of just shuffled away a little bit. And I'm not going to excuse myself for that.
Read these here. This is how bad it got. And full disclosure, I had fears of Yoon murdering me because I suffered with delusions at the time. So this was horrifying to see.
You're right to be horrified. What time frame?
It's not even the worst thing that made me angry about, but I will talk about it later.
Looking at the time frame, I'm wondering if I might have been at work when this was said.
Okay. Fair enough. Question 13.
Sure.
Did Hiten ever tell you the lie that I dox people and prompt others to swat them? Because she has told at least 2 people that believed her at face value, that being Asuka and Laya.
To my memory, no. Sorry, I'm going to check my DMs with Hiten here and see if she said anything to me.
Hi, Laya.
She and I barely spoke, really.
Okay. Yeah, seems she only told those 2 people because, Laya would. I understand why. He was so angry in my call, aside from the Jordan thing, because he was under the impression I was a genuinely dangerous individual. Yeah, Asuka got that information from Laya, who got that from Hiten. All up. Question. It's already kind of been answered, but I'll ask it anyway. Do you think if someone has a public username with their real name and decides to delete it, and then someone calls out that username, is that person a doxer or a criminal? Because I was called that.
If it does have their full name, I can certainly understand where that would be coming from.
The problem is,
Yes.
the username they used was a pun on sociopath. It used their first name, which I didn't know about. It was already public. So no, I didn't dox. He lied. He lied. And gaslit me for years. For half a decade. Question 14. Given all this information now, do you still think I committed crimes against Yoon or Hiten and not the other way around? Given what I showed?
I don't think what they said about you is true.
Okay. So now you're at the conclusion, that they lied about me. Correct?
Yeah.
Okay. I already asked that question, so I'll move on.
Okay.
I'm not gonna berate you much for this because it seems you're not angry in this chat, but I wanted to say, I saw what you said to Lio about me not wanting to have this discussion with you. I felt offended at you complaining to him as if you didn't partake in a group effort of what is essentially abuse of me. It feels childish, and given you're almost 30, it's kind of bad.
Was that when I asked him about... This is from the other day when I messaged him, right?
Hold on.
Yeah, I think I remember what I asked about.
You need to forward it, probably. I thought I saved it, but I didn't actually. Hold on, give me a minute.
Are you referring to when they were saying how they don't think statements used in the past should be used to address people in the modern time?
Yes.
They have to
Yes.
ask
I
for it?
wasn't even.
Okay.
It's more of a personal thing on my part. I will fully admit that.
It seems very self-serving, and on top of that, you certainly didn't have that view when it came to how you talked about other people in the Cloud Palace, frankly.
Ephraim wants to ask a question about that.
Sure.
Yeah, I just want to ask regarding this whole in the past thing. Like, how far back are we talking? Because this was 2.5 years ago. Like, that's not all that long in the grand scheme of things. Especially when you consider this community's existed for 20 years. Like, what exactly is your cutoff? Because technically speaking, as soon as I finish this statement, it will be in the past.
Usually, I consider.
Julie says the community did not exist in 2005.
Yes, it did. We'll get into this later. We'll get into this some other time. Not the point.
Okay.
Just Jace,
Let's
answer
do
the
a history
question.
lesson.
I'm just saying what she said.
Usually I consider the kind of cutoff point like a year ago, because I know a person can change a lot in a year.
Okay, well,
I know
I'm
this
gonna
might be
ask.
a little odd of me, but just again, it's a personal thing, so
Well, I'm gonna ask you a bit of a question in response. It's just, you see how arbitrary that is, right? Like, why 365 days specifically, and not say 6 months or 2 years? Like,
I don't know.
Hey,
So,
if it's an arbitrary standard, just say so, and I'll
It's
stop
kind
asking.
of just an arbitrary standard. Just
Okay, well, points
again,
for
personal
honesty.
thing. Yeah.
Light has something to say. I just saw him in chat.
Okay. Unmute.
Yeah. I'll only take like a minute. I'm not necessarily asking anything. I just want to explain to you, because this is like the second or third time I've seen you say something like that. It's not always to like come in and like drag you, but like, okay, so we all agree that like, or you agree with me that like healing doesn't have a time limit, right?
Yeah.
And you also would notice that like, you know, Ren's only found this like quite recently.
Right.
Yeah,
It does
I
definitely seem
found-
to be the case.
So, yeah, with those two statements in tandem, I think it's fair to say that, like, it shouldn't, especially on the scale it's at, it really shouldn't have a time limit to come and talk to you about it.
That's fair. And
We can acknowledge the growth and the change, obviously, but if it comes to being held to account for the thing you did, I don't think there should be a time limit on it, if you know what I mean.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think
I'll-
my fear is if I can I just yap for like 2 seconds?
Sure.
I think my main fear, and I've made this clear to plenty of people before, is getting like, you know, fucking kicked out of friend groups for things I said. Like, I think you understand what I mean.
Well,
I mean, I understand it. I would just say that.
Like, get cut off and kicked out in the past year and a half is abandonment issues go fucking burr. That's the most I'm gonna say.
no, I want to be clear, Jace. I understand that, and I sympathize.
Yeah.
First off, you're adding the assumption, and Light kind of touched on this, that we're assuming you're the same person as you were then in every respect, which, I mean, have you said that, Rin, and I just didn't hear it?
Yeah, I was kind of just an anxious wreck going into this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like,
I'm-
Thank
I've been in the side chat directly saying that you have improved on several of the things that were causing these problems in the first place. I know you have. That was one of the big things you and I were working on.
So
Okay, well, what language would you prefer we
Julie.
use instead, Julie? Well, actually, we'll put a pin in that. We'll get to that later.
Okay.
We'll just say you don't behave the same way generally right now as you used to.
So
No, yeah, I'm done, like, fucking standing up for people. My fucking
That's-
girlfriend turned out to be a wolf in sheep's clothing for years. I'm done. Sorry, that was a
So,
little bit outburst.
do you realize that statement that I just forwarded made you look like an aggressive person, like kind of bratish, childish, and immature? Like you were angry? Like it was out of anxiety, right?
Yeah. And I mean, I was like a little bit irked, but again, I kind of explained that. No, yeah, Light's got it, I think.
Okay, well, in that case, again, we'll just say you generally behave in a different manner than you used to. I think, does that... anyone have an objection to that? Okay, yeah, exactly. Julie just gave the words. Okay.
Okay. Question number 16. This may be a useless question because I asked this to Susie and she usually asks everything, but nope. But I gotta ask in case because I never have a conversation with you. It would probably never happen. Which, if I do, probably never happen, but let's say it does. It's not gonna be as civil as this. At all. But did Hiten or Yoon send the script about me, about their video, to you? If so, can you send it over to me? I deserve to know what they said in it.
I don't believe they did.
Ugh, typical. Susie didn't get that either.
Like, I remember it being mentioned. I never saw the script itself.
I kinda wish I had that, but it is what it is. It's not anyone's fault but Heaton's. Question 17. Bit personal question. I did nothing to you. Did you ever think that maybe you should have stopped with this?
I think it got to a point where I was like, yeah, maybe I should step back and, like, just fucking chill. I don't remember when exactly that point was. I'm gonna admit this.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I had that thought.
Yeah, Question 18. I checked the logs for this. Did you really give pushback against a dead name hashtag?
I can explain this one. This one I do remember. It was when the whole thing after Boone's video and the hashtag with the what I then eventually learned was you considered it a dead name. My viewpoint at the time, it was a username. I guess the dots didn't connect on my head on how that could be considered a dead name, but in hindsight, and I think Yoon might have, like, genuinely explained it to me, like, in that conversation.
You see, I saw the logs, and he showed a very sickening glee in it. So it's hard to think he told me the truth on that. So unless I have multiple testimonies of people saying they got pushed back, I'm not believing him at his face value because I read what he said. It is fucking disgusting. I'm gonna show what I found today.
Okay.
And full disclosure, I fucking hate him for this.
Oh boy.
No pressure, but I prefer you to read this out loud or in your head and see Why? I don't like this. Oh, it's not in order. Shit. I'll just read it. Jesp is very fucking lucky that I'm at work right now. I think it's very convenient how she gets to stir up shit in my life and dodge all accountability. Newsflash Fix. You make me want to fucking kill myself. Unfortunately for me, I don't have the privilege of using white woman tears to trick a gaggle of dumbasses into licking my clit at every fucking turn. You're not fucking special for wanting to kill yourself, bitch. More than half the internet wants to do. You don't get to paint me as a potential murderer, say I'm into rape, say I abused a power imbalance between us, lie about me at every turn, say you don't give a shit about my mental health and expect everyone to give a shit about yours. At this point, I believe that this is some sort of fetish for you because you literally won't stop. Do you get off on harassing an Asian version, Jess? Do you get off on your brain-dead friends telling you that you aren't the shit that you are? Stop making me the villain in your fucking Your Name Wattpad wet dream cunt. I'd say at this point, the only thing that'll get you to stop is for me to kill myself, but I wouldn't be surprised if you would find a way to lie about my fucking death, so you can be the victim in that. You want to know something funny? I told Hiten to kill in the video. I was the one to give you what you wanted, but you know what? From now on, everything done is my new fucking hyperfixation. I'm screaming every detail from the rooftop, bitch. Get fucked.
Sorry, my mouth is just fucking hanging open right now.
You realize that's sexual harassment, right? Did you see this? In fact, you saw this. I want to ask anyone, has anyone saw this thread and thought this was okay? Because if I saw this, I would have been extremely triggered by it. Especially at the time. I fucking hate this bitch. The blackmail didn't make me hate him. This did.
Oh, shit. Sorry, I'm just... Can I stop getting duped, man? Fuck him.
I hate him so much he can eat rocks.
The problem is, this isn't you being duped. This was right in the open where you were. You're not duped. You just went along with it. Let's not mix words there. You're not some poor thing that got manipulated. This is just what you were fine with. You're not a victim here. You're part of the problem.
I think I would have called that out if I saw it.
No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't.
Lyle.
I know you wouldn't, because the way you deal with conflict is by not dealing with it. I've seen how you act when you get in conflicts. You don't. You rely on other people to do it for you, so don't play this game, please. I'm not in the mood for it. You would have sat there and you would have laughed along with everybody else, because that's what you've done in these chats.
The day them pussy wasn't questioned. The cum charge.
You were the one talking about giving...
Sorry.
You were the one talking about giving Rin the rope.
And
so did you dupe yourself?
Yeah, put me in a straitjacket. That was correct. Also, being happy about me being isolated forever. As if I was not blackmailed off the internet.
God.
I'm sorry if I'm coming across as mean in this.
No,
I'm trying so hard not to be.
You've got every right to just... Ugh.
Question 19. What else has Yoon said about me in calls? Or, yeah, just in calls, if you can remember.
I don't remember anything.
Alright. Whatever, I guess. Final question. Question 20. What will you do from this day forward? Are you going to talk about this publicly to take accountability for this abuse? Because apologizing for doliling me and not this kinda hurts, to be honest.
I mean, I can certainly issue an apology as much as it's fucking years late for that.
Yeah, you also blocked me on Blue Sky, believe it or not. You blocked me before I blocked you. I don't know why you did that. Yes, you did. I can check on
certainly
Clear
fix
Sky
that.
right now.
I can certainly fix that.
Hold on. Just let me get it. Give me a minute. Here we go. Trauma Ray, B-Sky, Social Ace. Blocked on the 18th of 2025. April 18th, 2025. Blocked me. Didn't even say anything about you. I kept you anonymous in my video. Yeah, this year, correct.
I'm gonna be honest, I was just still in avoidance mode.
You kind of realize that kind of comes across as you
No, I understand how it comes across. Sure as fuck wasn't my intention.
Okay. Because I'm not gonna lie, I kind of crashed out over that when I first found that out. Especially when you wronged me and I did nothing to you. So.
I've been doing a lot of... No, yeah, you've got a point. Wait, who is... I don't know who Hidden Heroine is, but that's true.
So what are you gonna do? From here on out, because I think I will publish this. I will censor anything if you want, if it's personal details, because I don't, even if I don't like you that much, I don't want to do that to somebody.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not recording this, by the way. I'm giving credit where credit is due. I don't know who's recording this.
Beats me.
Yeah, Asuka. I will credit you if I put this in a video.
Alright.
I hope you feel remorse for this. I'm not happy with everything that I saw. I was very upset seeing you talk about the rope thing because I actually did want to kill myself with a rope. That really hurt a lot.
Yeah,
I hope you learn from this. I hope you do better and you won't be so angry at people. I understand you have traumas.
I can tell you one thing, I've genuinely been toning it down.
Yeah, I probably sure can.
A lot of times I don't even have energy to get angry anymore, or at least properly angry.
Just channel your anger for beneficial things rather than at people who are vulnerable.
And
Because full disclosure, the amount of people harassing me, not just that, but people drawing brave art of me, knowing I'm a rape victim, sexualizing my suffering, that could have led up to a body count, along with sexual harassment from you and Avi. So.
Sorry, the art thing just kind of floored me for a second.
Yes, that
The
happened.
fuck?
Twice.
Oh my god. That's beyond fucked up.
Yeah, that happened
Holy shit, I'm
2
so
weeks
sorry.
before the hashtag. It's
Yeah.
why I was so suicidal.
It's not about not being angry, it's about being better moving forward, yeah. And for what it's worth, I'm fully comfortable saying this. I have been getting therapy, albeit it's on pause for a minute because my insurance decided to fuck me, but...
Yikes, I'm sorry to hear that.
America.
America sucks.
Real. Well, I'm glad we were like at least able to talk like stuff out here.
I'm gonna be honest, I was actually expecting you to be angry or mean to me, even though I was trying to but I guess
No,
just
I'm
went a
like-
different direction.
I'm like actively trying to be chill here. I've got some fucking tea and my cat next to me and everything.
Mhm. Anyone else want to say anything? You want to say your final words, I guess? I don't
mean,
know.
I've already left the community at this point, so.
Okay.
I've got
Sparrow
something to
says they have
say.
some. Oh, okay.
I'll go after Sparrow then. I'll go after Sparrow. Let Sparrow go first.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I wrote my questions down so that way I know what to say. I would like to preemptively apologize if I come off as aggressive in how I word things. That's just how I worded it. Okay, so my first question is, so you understand when the chips are down, you tend to prioritize and believe your friends. With that awareness, I have to question why you always seem to be involved in groups doing some shit. Why do you continue to get involved in sensitive situations when you seem to be very aware of your inability to critically analyze your friends' actions and handle things in a more responsible or tactful way?
I think I realized a while ago that I shouldn't be in spaces like this anymore. I know I can get aggressive, and I know I can pop off a little harder than I should be. I mean, honestly, might have even realized that even back after all the September shit. So, being a yes
Well-
man is yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, yeah, it's not particularly good. And actually, I feel like that leads to my second question. The second general thing I want to say. It does also end in a question, though. You can support your friends without needing to say anything condemning people. You were not that long ago talking about being duped, and while that was called out for not exactly being correct, if you believed you're so easily duped, why the fuck are you speaking against somebody, or like anyone, when you should know by now you cannot trust your own judgment?
I trust my friends too much.
Well, Jace, I understand that, but my point is, if you acknowledge, if you can, no, if you can acknowledge that you cannot trust your own understanding of situations, why the fuck are you not just focusing on supporting your friends through situations that you understand are difficult for them, without condemning the people that you clearly can't properly judge how much they've actually hurt them? Like, because it would not have been a problem if you were supporting Yun through a hard time because you felt as though they were going through a time that was very mentally stressful for them. It was a problem because of the way that you spoke about Rin. If you had just supported Yun through that hard time, there would be no issue. So my question remains, why are you continuing to it's just not clicking for me, I guess. That's also a good question. Why are you putting yourself in a position where you know you're not going to ask questions, where you know you're just going to get angry at people? Like, you've clearly pointed it at the wrong person in this situation. And you've clearly made note that you can't really trust your own judgment on these things because, you know, like, you feel as though you are easily manipulated, as far as I can tell. So why the hell are you not just focusing on supporting your friends instead of, like, focusing on shitting on people? Very weird to me. And although I don't really feel like I'm going to get an adequate answer for that, my last question, this is the one that I'm most concerned about asking. So Jace, I need to preemptively apologize. This is going to come off as mean. But why the fuck do you always have to be the victim? in every situation. It happened in September. It happened when you were like literally apologizing. It's happened in this very call. You need to look inward and ask yourself that, like I'm asking you now, why, like, you were talking about how, like, you get manipulated or whatever, even though you're literally, like, I don't want to say you're a useful idiot, but, like, you're out here. Well, that's not, like, the point. The point being, Jace, you have to look. I'm asking you simply to look inward and try to understand why you always have to be like you are manipulated. You're dealing with all this stuff. You're like stressed. You're like Jace. I was emotionally manipulated. Like Jace, you're complacent. You can just say I was complacent. I'm sorry, and then not do it again. But this is a repeated pattern I've noticed over the course of I don't know how long. But it's a little
I know
irritating.
what you people are gonna do if I do say I'm complacent.
Jace, you can admit to fucking something up without like you can admit that you fucked up without it like
Back. What do you think people are gonna do if you admit you're complacent?
Abandoned like everyone else.
Oh, okay.
Been seeing it
who all was
happen again and again.
Shush. Who was abandoned?
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Who was abandoned?
I've seen so much happen over the course.
Stop. I don't need a monologue.
No, it's.
I do not need or want a monologue. That is not what I asked you. I want names.
I know there's a lot of stuff I've missed.
That's not what I asked you. You said, abandoned like the others. Give me the names of the others. I am not raising my voice at you. I am not yelling at you.
I would have said
Name me the others.
Susie before all of this. I would have
Jace.
said her.
Susie was never abandoned. Hold on. I've got
I'm
this.
sorry,
Thank you. Susie was never abandoned. Susie left and chose not to be in contact. So that one doesn't pass muster. Try again.
I
I
remember
don't want to
that
cause a breakdown.
Calm down. I've got this.
Sorry.
I want names. Who's been abandoned?
I know that in the past, people like. One of the few names coming to mind is Mav, because people are chill with him now, and at the time of like Cloak and Dagger, Mav got kicked out of the lot too. Just
Why?
as an example. Oh, Mav's a she.
Why?
Maybe abandoned.
I'm going to ask you to stop paying. Okay, I'm going to ask you to stop paying attention to the chat. Stop looking for reasons to avoid what I'm asking you, because you're
I'm
going to
not
actually make me mad if you keep that up. Then stop and focus.
I'm trying.
Mav did not get abandoned because they admitted complacency. They got quote-unquote abandoned because they enabled horrific behavior that led to a buddy of a predator existing in a space for 2 years doing God knows what. So that also does not meet the metric, because if every person you are going to mention is somebody who has been expunged from the community for similar things, then that's more telling of you than it is the community.
No.
Who do you think has been abandoned?
Abandoned wasn't the right word.
Then what would the right word be?
Kicked out. I let go of. Let go of is.
Why do you care about that if you... Then why do you care? You say you left the community. Why would you care if you got kicked out?
There's some people who are friends that do still kind of associate with this community. Like, people like
And?
Habit, Saf, Amy, things like that.
Okay.
Are
any of us running to them to tell them not to talk to you?
I don't know what's being said behind my back because there's always things being said behind people's backs.
Can I just?
Yeah,
can
and I
just
wonder
jump
who
in?
helped attribute to that. Go ahead.
I'm so sorry for breaking you up, but I'm genuinely tired of this. We've sat here this entire time, like suffering through emotional manipulation of boo-hoo, I was manipulated, boo-hoo, I'm gonna be ostracized. You're the perpetrator in this situation.
I know.
And while, like, yes, sure, there may be some, like, manipulation that was going on behind the scenes. Whatevs, sure, I'll give you that. But I'm not gonna sit here and watch you being like, oh, if I say something and I speak up, I'm gonna be ostracized. If people are ostracizing you for doing the right thing, which is speaking up, then, you know, you shouldn't even be around them to begin with. So, like, sit down, think about yourself, and stop making yourself the perpetual victim of this entire situation. You're gonna be fine. If people are shitty, like, if shitty people are, like, cutting you off because you're telling them, hey, what you're doing
It's
is
not even
bad.
what I'm trying to do. It just.
Well,
No, what you're trying to
Like that.
no, what you're trying to do is the same thing that you do every time you're confronted with anything. You become the weeping individual who can't answer questions magically. Yes, you are. I can literally hear it in your voice. Please do not lie to me. I don't appreciate it. I'm tired of you doing that because you do it a lot. To me specifically, you do it a lot. And I'm tired of the behavior, and I'm tired of the self-victimization, and I'm tired of the pity parties you play every single time you are called to account for things. Because you do it every single time. And part of the problem with this community is they let you get away with it because everyone in this community wants to put every bit of focus on some random person's emotions instead of whether or not the emotions have any validity based on the situation. I'm sorry, but no. I'm not your therapist. I'm not your parents. I'm not here to play that game with you. I have literally watched you this past year play these games. Enough. Go ahead, Sparrow. I heard you peeping up. No, you're... Stop. Oh my god, stop. Go ahead.
Thank you. I was also going to say, like, Jace, you acknowledge that you have these problems, and everybody's acknowledged that all they want from you is to do better. Jace, in order to do better, you have to actually admit that you have a problem. You can't just sit here and be like, I understand being manipulated, but Jace, you bring this up every single time somebody points out that you said something fucked up, or you did something fucked up. And you have to be willing to acknowledge, oh, hey, I just did something really fucked up.
No, I know I fucked up.
Well, then Jace, you have to just be willing to acknowledge that. You have to stop, like, bringing up every single time it gets acknowledged, like, oh, I was, like, dealing with this, I was dealing with that. Because while it's understandable, it's also, it does not change that what you did was still messed up. And while an explanation can be appreciated in certain situations, in others, it has a time and a place. But you keep just trying to explain your actions instead of just really acknowledging the scope of damaging things you've done.
Yeah.
Which can't really do much more for you other than you just being like, oh yeah, I fucked up. And then you keep making the same mistakes. We've seen it here. I've heard it since as far back as September of 2024. Jace, this is a repeated pattern. All I am asking of you is for you to stop trying to explain your actions away because you were a victim in this situation. You were a victim in that situation. Because while it's understandable, it also doesn't mean that anything that you did was okay in any circumstance. And also, sometimes it's just not the fucking time or place for it. Somebody asks for your explanation for why you did some fucked up shit. That's one thing. If you're apologizing, it can be good to be like, this is why I did this, but, you know, it obviously was never an excuse, and I'm going to work forward on handling this better. that's an understandable reason to bring it up, right? But Jace, if it's being brought to you why you did something fucked up, if your only response to that is to apologize and explain it away, or just explain it away, that doesn't do anything for anyone other than like let you live in some fantasy that you like didn't do anything that fucked up. It's not healthy, especially when all we're asking of you is to literally just acknowledge this shit that you did. Please, I'm literally just begging you.
I know.
Just
I know what I did. I did
Do you
stuff
know?
I don't even remember doing, clearly. I've been a fucking terrible person to Rin.
Well, Jace, I'm glad that you can understand that. What I'm not understanding is why, like, you can acknowledge that here, but the entire time Rin has been confronting you, very kindly, might I add. Because if I was in Rin's shoes, I'd have been a lot more heated and aggressive. I'm gonna be real. But why? What I've been hearing from you throughout this call has been some variation of, you know, like I was, like, why do I keep getting manipulated? Why do I keep just going along with my friends? Jace.
No, it's just a hindsight thing.
Oh, okay. And you can have that hindsight moment in the comfort of your own self-reflection. But you do not need to be putting that into here where people are trying to tell you the fucked up shit that you did to them.
May I
It's
speak?
not appropriate. It's not appropriate and it's not okay.
Sure. I know.
I think you need to learn to be in communities that aren't hostile, and you need to learn to look between the lines. But that's just me.
That's not
sorry.
the-
Sorry.
That's not the problem. It's not the problem. And somebody else asked to speak. Who was it?
That was me.
Lucy.
All right.
Okay. So I can understand why you would, kind of bring up, oh, I've been duped or I've been manipulated. But I just want to say, like, you do realize that, like, how do I put this? While that might not be your intent, you doing that in the middle of a call that is supposed to be you, apologizing to somebody you wronged, comes off as you trying to throw a pity party for yourself that wasn't even supposed to be there, correct?
The more I think on it, yes, I can understand how it comes across that way, and maybe that's what I'm doing, and I just haven't.
That's more or less what everybody's been trying to tell you.
Realizing.
Okay.
Anyways, that's all.
So,
Okay.
let's not do the laughing at the end of every statement, because there's nothing here that's funny, frankly.
No, it's
Because here's the problem. It's not the community. The community didn't force you into this. They didn't make you do this. The community brings out the worst in me. I've been in this community for a while now. I'm not doing any of this stuff. The problem is it was a personal choice you made. And now when you're confronted with it, suddenly you can't take it. And when I say you can't take it, you do what you have done every other time you've been confronted. You melt down, you try to act like it's somebody else's fault or that it was some other external problem that led you to this. No, you just like being cruel. You like being in groups where people are mean girls, where you say unhinged things that you don't think anybody else is going to see.
I mean, I sure as fuck.
It's why, when it comes time for rubber to hit the road, you don't want to do the work because you're used to other people doing it for you.
Yeah.
Which is why you tried to use me. And I want to be clear, I know you've given me a billion different apologies, but every single one of them have proven to be objectively dishonest. And all it takes is for you to think for 1 second that you have a way out of having that apology to be honest and true, for you to retract it via actions. Because I watched you do it in real time when Liv was taken to task for their nonsense, and you got stupid with me. Because that is who you are. So you're acting like, well, I just found out that my partner was yada yada. I'm just going to posit something. I'll be real blunt here. And this isn't a level of argumentation. This is just a belief. I don't think for a second you would have broken up with Susie if you didn't think you'd get grief for it if you didn't.
You don't know how I was feeling.
I just said it's a belief. I just said it's a belief. I didn't say it was a level of argumentation. What do you think that means?
Right now, your belief is wrong.
Cool. Your actions tell me otherwise. Therefore, again, based on our previous conversation, due to your previous actions and how you operate, I am not under any inclination to believe what you are telling me or value your input on that. Especially considering you came to me for validation that it was the right choice to make.
I just cut her off not 24 hours beforehand, and I'd been having a lot of, like, am I really doing the right thing type of thoughts. And then I started learning more and more and more stuff that I wasn't aware of. And
so you go to a person you have been... So you go to a person you have been historically an absolute dick to for validation that you made the right choice.
No, when I said
that's what you did.
Please don't cut me
There is no. That is literally just what you did. It's not the subtext. It is just the text. I'm not your dad. I'm not your moral arbiter. If you need somebody to validate the fact that you broke up with somebody who did horrific things, you are in a lot more trouble than anyone else would think you are in. What you wanted was the blessing of somebody you think is in charge. I am not that for you. Get your own values and stop relying on everybody else's to suit your needs. Be an actual adult for once. And that's all my input on this at this point.
Anyone else?
Okay. So I was waiting for after Lyle was done, but Lyle finished before I finished sending my message, so my bad. I guess the one thing I really want to say, like, Jace. Okay. As far as I can tell, you've held to the idea that you're a well-intentioned person. So, yeah. So, I'm gonna let you in on something, Jace. If you're well-intentioned, okay, you should be acting on those well-intentions by being willing to acknowledge and accept and grow from things that you've been criticized for doing. Like, you were just trying to fight Lio on this shit. You were trying to be like, and Jace, you've been, like, I was trying to tell you earlier, like, you have to be willing to acknowledge you're gonna fuck up. And I'm trying to illustrate the point to you that you've been making yourself the victim in these situations. Jace, if you were well-intentioned, you would, at the very least, be willing to try to understand the point before attempting to argue it. I'm not saying being well-intentioned is taking every single piece of criticism that comes your way, because no human's gonna do that. That's absurd. That's stupid. That's not even, like, a normal standard people have for themselves. But Jace, if you're well-intentioned, you have to be willing to acknowledge when you fuck up, and you have to be willing to accept that sometimes you've done things that are baseline disgusting, and you have to grow from that. You can't keep trying to argue with people, and as far as I've seen from Light, you've kept, like, treating Lyle like shit. Jace, you're being informed that Lyle felt it was inappropriate. If you're well-intentioned, you would have just been like, oh, fuck, my bad. I didn't realize you would view that as inappropriate, even though, gonna be honest, you really should have. And just, like, accept that. Accept that it was something that was viewed as inappropriate and move on. Jace, it's being pointed out to you that it feels like you continue making yourself the victim in these situations. If you are well-intentioned, you should be willing to acknowledge, oh, hey, these kinds of discussions are not the time and place to be bringing X, Y, or Z up. So I need to stop doing that and just start trying to be more understanding when people are trying to tell me that I've done something that hurts them. That's something a well-intentioned person should be willing to do. So I'm going to have to ask of you, moving forward, that if you are well-intentioned, moving forward, be more willing to hear things about you that you might not like for the sake of, like, being able to recognize that you have done fucked up shit. And sometimes there's nobody else to blame it. Jace, manipulation's not your fault. But you're a grown adult. Have some fucking sense. You do not have responsibility for being manipulated. You have some responsibility for the fucked up shit that you said. Being manipulated does not excuse that.
I know that.
And if you're well-intentioned, you need to be willing to acknowledge that. That's all I really wanted to say. But I just looked in the side chat. Like, Jace, at that point, I don't know how well-intentions explain that. Like, that asked if I were in your shoes, Lyle would be the last person I would go to for validation on that. Because, like...
I was talking to him anyway and kind of just thought to ask about it. That's the only thing I can really say.
Well...
Excuse me. No, you literally added me to ask me for validation. What are you on about?
No, what I added you for was to ask, like, hey, can we just, like, talk for a bit? Because I did genuinely want to try and talk things out. And, like, be at least on slightly less rocky terms. I'd like to think that's fair, and...
Your statement says...
You rightfully shot me down.
Hey, sorry to message out of the blue. I know what's going on with Susie, and I feel the need to let you know this because I get the feeling that someone is going to ask. I just made a very difficult decision and cut Susie off. It was admittedly stunning to me to do, but I knew things were likely going to get worse, and I just cracked. I had the feeling I'd be given an ultimatum anyway, and so I ripped the bandage off. I know things have been really rocky between you and I, and I'm admittedly spiraling a bit right now, but can we, like, talk, just in general, to bury the hatchet and all that? What does that read to you as? Because it certainly doesn't read to me as just having a heart-to-heart talk. What that reads to me as, you made a decision, you wanted validation, even when you make it very clear the main reason you did it is because you were worried about being given an ultimatum.
A lot had happened in the past 24 hours at that point. I knew! I didn't...
You
Listen.
Oh my god, no. That fucking
Listen, please, listen!
Do not raise your voice at me. I will embarrass you out of this call.
Please calm down.
Please calm down, please.
I'm trying.
If you want to get your point across, I don't think raising your voice at this point is really going to help you much.
Like, the message you sent to Lyle literally said, I cut it off because I know this was going to lead to trouble, and because I was going to be given an ultimatum. That does not read as, oh, Susie did fucked up shit and I don't want to be associated with that. So you did it for outside validation again.
No, it's not... In hindsight, I know how that reads. I'm so... Give me a second, please.
Okay.
And, after...
Tore up I was. about what happened with Susie. There was a lot of the details I didn't have still. And I was kind of torn on making a decision because, God, I loved her so much, and I didn't want it to be true. I think I was still in denial. I'd had a lot to process. I didn't sleep until 7 a.m.
Okay, stop. You're doing it again. Stop.
No,
I'm so tired. Everybody in this call is giving you way more grace than they should. You're consistently emotionally manipulating the entire fucking call every single time you speak.
That's not what I'm trying to do! Can you please just listen?
Everybody who's been listening, and every single time you come at this, it's, oh, I was manipulated, oh, everything's so hard for me, I don't give a fuck, you wronged Rin. This is about how you wronged Rin. It's not about your little woo-woos, it's not about your little boo-hoo ad. I don't care. You fucked up, you keep fucking up, and you're not willing to take any accountability because every time you're asked for it, you would self-victimize. So for once in your life, I am begging you to just sit here and give straight-up answers and not devolve into your little story of how everything is so sad and how it's so hard for you. I don't care how hard it is for you. It's hard for everybody out here. We're not making it a point to use it to emotionally manipulate a call that's holding us accountable. So stop.
And also, Jace, this is what I meant earlier when I said time and place. It's being pointed out to you that you going to Lio about these concerns was inappropriate, and you're bringing up all of these factors that was making it emotionally difficult for you. Jace, you have friends, and you are a grown fucking adult. I'm sorry, you have both of those things.
Yeah.
So, and also, I want to point out from the message that was read, Jace, you should know that as a person who, as far as I'm aware, has wronged Lio, and because of that, Lio doesn't want really to talk to you on that level, you should know it's not your place to be like, hey, can we talk things out? Can we bury the hatchet? If that's not something Lio wants, why the fuck why do you feel it is your place to ask about that?
That's actually something I mentioned and said about wanting to add on to Sparrow's point, because in general, these things about talking about what your pain specifically, from the whole I was manipulated to the whole like you breaking up with Susie and what you mentioned to Lio in those messages, like even beyond this call, this goes about the taking these incidents and trying to make them about you specifically. Like, there is a difference between, like, of course, I'm not saying you can't talk about pain, of course, but what I'm saying is when this call is being about taking accountability for your actions, and you start skewing it to be about your personal pain as over the pain that you've caused, not like as mentioned, not just emotionally manipulative, but it makes it come off as a whole as you are ironically trying to dodge accountability, trying to avoid addressing what the actual problem is.
And like, Jace, I really do want to believe you when you say that you're well-intentioned, or at least you try to be. But it's a little difficult where in the same call where I'm asking you to recognize there is a time and a place to recognize your own personal issues when it comes to situations where you've potentially done something inappropriate or negatively affected somebody, you try to do the exact same thing that I was telling you was a problem earlier, where at an inappropriate time where you did something that you have since been informed was not appropriate for you to do, you bring up negative things that were affecting you to be like, yeah, well, I was going through this and I was going through that. Jace, lots of different people go through lots of different things all of the time. It's very understandable. It can be understandable to a degree. Jace, you noted in that message you were spiraling. I am 100%, I'm actually 110% sure that you have people that you can go to when you are spiraling. And the reason I am so sure of that is because you were literally talking about earlier in the chat, people that you are friends with who you do not want to lose. You could have gone to them and it would have been maybe not timing wise as of recent, specifically appropriate, but you have other people that you can go to. I'm sure you have friends. So I'm not sure why you went to a person who you've wronged and not only try to get their validation on something that, I'm gonna be real here, you as an adult should have the ability to validate yourself on, because you're in a community that always talks about the right thing to do. So if you were internalizing any of that, you should understand on some level, yeah, that was probably the right thing to do. And B, you acknowledge the shitty things that you did to them in your message asking to bury the hatchet about it, which is not your fucking place considering you were the one in the wrong in those situations. I have to question how, honestly, how much can I value those good intentions when Jace, like, I don't even know if I can give you any goodwill after that. Because it's so fucking... It's so... No. It is so fucking insane to me that you sat here and did that after I just got it done explaining to you why it was a problem. You know how insane that is?
Yeah, I think it might have been...
Jace, this is not some little oopsie. This is a repeated pattern of behavior that you have illustrated my point for. So thank you for that, I guess. But in doing so, you have essentially shown, at least to me, that the goodwill that I've had, or at least tried to have, has clearly been misplaced. So thanks for that, I guess. I don't know. I'm irritated because why the fuck did you do that? Deadass.
It might have just been on impulse.
Okay, so you can acknowledge that you're impulsive.
Yeah, I can certainly
okay.
That.
Okay, so then why the fuck are you, instead of, I don't know, thinking about your actions for more than 2 seconds, like normal people with normal impulse problems try to do before they do something that might be impulsive, you just act on it anyways. You seem to be very aware of your own weaknesses and problems, at least when it comes to talking about these kinds of situations where you fucked up. So I don't understand why you don't just actually fucking work on it like a normal person. Because I want to believe that you're capable of that, but I don't understand why you don't just fucking do it. It's difficult. It's not impossible. It's never been impossible. And I don't understand why you continue to do that shit when you should fucking know how fucking, like, it has been illustrated. Point being, TLDR, final summary, because I don't want to start repeating myself. It has been illustrated to you how that was inappropriate, and you still did it. I don't think there's any excuse for that. I don't think there's even really any real explanation for that. And I don't really think I can give much grace on that.
Honestly,
so I guess I'm done talking, because if I continue, I'm probably gonna start getting really pissed off, and I really don't want to do that. So thank y'all for letting me speak.
Are we done? Because I want to give my final words.
Sure.
I wish you the best, even if you've hurt me a lot. I'm hoping that You can post an apology, I guess, and tag me, because I have my tag here. You can copy and paste it or whatever. I'm not gonna deny I was not a great person back then. I'm not an angel. No one is. I'm trying to better myself, and you should as well. I'm sorry. This one's unscripted. I didn't write this one down.
No, you're good.
I'm just gonna say, we both struggle with impulse issues. Learn to read between the lines. Learn to not break yourself away from the habits of being around mean girl circles, because it transformed you into this monster. Not on the level of monsters, but like a bully that caused me pain.
Yeah.
Um,
I've came to this realization a while ago that I think being in a lot of circles like that has just kind of brought out the worst in me, so I've just taken myself out of a lot of those.
Same for me. I just want to finish everything off. Though my video on Hiten is on indefinite hiatus because I said this in the SCC call last night, and I said this publicly. I had nosebleeds once and twice a day for 6 days straight, going through the logs, because this things said were incredibly traumatizing to look through. And I had to have a friend look through it because I couldn't do it alone. And I had to have a call in here because I did not want to do it alone. And I was seeing things in real time with people and just copying and pasting it in Rin's bin. And I hope for your sake this will be your wake-up call. If that makes sense. Maybe I'm not making sense.
No, don't worry, you're making perfect sense. And
Okay.
quite frankly, I'm
Good. Are we done? Sorry if I took up much time.
Don't be.
The only thing I'm going to add, because God forbid, if you issue that apology to Rin, if I catch any "oh boo-hoo, woe is me" in that is not an apology, okay? That's an excuse. So, for once, I am begging you to sit down and just be like, this is what I did, this is why it's wrong, and I'm sorry for it. No context, no whining, no boo-hoo, my life is so sad, everything sucked, nothing of that. Because that's the least you can do. You already significantly failed throughout this entire call by being emotionally manipulative, like, at every turn you could be. So the least you can do is issue a proper apology. And I hope you're able to do that.
I hope for your sake that this will be taken as a learning lesson. And that I am not too harsh in this because full disclosure, I did not want to take out the anger that I felt for you upon you because he was sexually harassing me.
honestly, I wouldn't have. You would have had every right to be quite fucking honest.
Well, no, because you didn't do that. But if you knew about that, I would have been having every right. But I'm too tired to be honest.
That's fair.
Again, I have hurt a lot of people. I've hurt Ephraim. I've hurt Maria Kutsu. I've hurt Lily. I've hurt Laka. I've hurt so many people. So I'm not here to judge you too much. I may have said angry things about you in the server, but that was out of sheer shock and anger of what you said. I don't permanently hate people or dislike people. It usually just goes away over time if that helps with you or whatever. I hope you have a good night. If you like,
I
have a
just
good night.
looked at the sidebar. Sparrow said, they just remembered something.
Okay.
I guess I'm just like Jace. I feel like we've had this conversation before, and I think that's part of why I'm so frustrated. Because we have talked about this. Like, I think we talked about this in like January or like, not January, sorry. I think it was like March or April-ish.
Oh, the thing with...
Yes, Call, Light, I, and Jace had sat down and had a conversation, and I brought up very issue. I guess I'm just frustrated that we are back here. So, I guess that's the main takeaway I have is I don't understand
1 second.
why you've spoken about being good intentioned.
Die
You
hard,
just,
I guess. But
oh,
yeah, I think
I'm fully done after this. I just want to say like
Oh, yeah.
Jace, like you've known you've had this problem. You seem to be very aware of your issues, but you've known you've had this problem. So I'm not even sure why you got upset that it was pointed out to you as being a trend when you've done it before in multiple situations and it's been called out every time. So
I'm sorry to cut in, but I do think something hidden in chat needs to just be addressed. Do we get everything after this? Else we run in circles again? Because I was even gonna highlight this part. I think at this point we've kind of just been going in a circle, like NASCAR.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, Jace, like, there needs to be actual improvement shown. Like, at this point, you cannot keep just apologizing for things or admitting you fucked up. You have to actually work on it. Apologies only go, like, so far, and I think you've, like, long exhausted that. So, I'm done. That was all I really wanted to emphasize. And that was it. I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to make anyone feel like we were gonna go in a circle. My bad.
And it's okay. It happens.
Alright.
But, yeah.
More thing. Hopefully this will be the last time I ever have to set foot in one of these spaces. I'm trying to close the book on this part of my life and do better things, I fucking guess. I was happy to come in here, help give Rin some closure, and it seems like we got that, at the very least, if nothing else. So, like...
I believe so.
Yeah,
I don't believe I'm gonna have a chat with you at this point. I don't think he will, and he sexually harassed me in the most one of the very disgusting way. If I have a conversation, it would be much more like, I don't know, I would be yelling, and I do not want that with who I'm living with and stuff.
Sorry. Something caught my throat.
Are we done? We're all done, right?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Okay, in that case, I can dismiss Jace if you guys want.
Yeah.
Jace? You're dismissed.
Court is adjourned.
Have a good day. Or night, I don't know.
Also,
I wish you the best.
Never mind, I'll just, like, DM, I guess. I don't think the person I want to DM is even in this call. Anyway, later. Bye.
Okay, so...
Oh my god.